Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is on every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Watch live on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is presented by Raymond Felton State Farm.
Have you compared insurance rates lately? Are you satisfied with your current insurance provider? If not, look no further than Ray Felton State Farm, a proud sponsor of Sports on Tap. For a free quote, call his office at 234-284-2996 or visit him online at rayfelton.com.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's troutlandent@gmail.com. Elevate your brand with Mako Custom Printing. Mako Custom Printing specializes in creating high-quality spiritware, corporate apparel, and promotional products that make your brand stand out. Whether you need custom printing, graphic design, or an online store for your school or business, we've got you covered. Make a statement with Mako Custom Printing. Visit us at mako.com to start your custom printing journey today. That's MEHCO.com.
Welcome, everybody, to Sports on Tap. This is the high school football recap show brought to you by Raymond Felton State Farm Insurance. Make sure you give Ray a call. Check out his website, www.rayfelton.com, for all your home, life, and auto insurance needs. My son decided he wanted to grace us with his presence at the beginning of the show, since he'll be going to bed here soon. You watch this live on the YouTube channel, make sure you like and subscribe, get those notifications. We are about to go on the air. We are on Facebook, Sports on Tap. You can listen to us on Spotify, Sports on Tap. We are on Threads at SOT_podcasts. We are on X at SOT Podcasts, and our website is sportsontappodcast.com. Questions, comments, concerns, send those to sportsontappodcast@gmail.com. My name is Ed Dick, alongside Rob Troutman, Professor Hype, Sean Duffy, Dr. Hoops, Noah Jacobson, and EVP of Social Media and Graphics, Josh Jeffy. The high school football season for 2024 has come and gone. Just seems like yesterday we were talking to coaches, new coaches as they got their jobs. Our preview show, and at the end of it, 16 games later, we have finally reached the crescendo. We are going to go through the recaps. Our own Rob Troutman was at the Division II state championship game between Avon and Cincinnati Anderson. Avon made it to the state championship game, so they had a chance to bring home the not only the first championship in Avon football history, but also the one for Sports on Tap as well. So there's clearly a lot on the line for Avon. There. Yeah, we use that for Thanksgiving. So we have a lot to get to. We'll go through the recaps. We'll quickly touch on all 7 games. There were 2 Northeast Ohio teams, Avon and Kirtland. We will later be joined by head coach of the Berea Mid-Park Titans, John Hunek. He'll join us to go over the Titans season. They did win a playoff game. We'll talk to him about that. We will also be talking with coach of the Avon Eagles. And unless you live under a rock, I think you have to know that the Avon Eagles, they are the state champions in Division II. Rob will give you the details. So we're going to be joined by Coach Mike Elder at 8:15, and then we are going to be joined by he's starting to become a friend of show status because he got on twice in like 5 weeks. Senior quarterback Nolan Good from Avon, and we're going to be joined by Aiden Atkins from Avon as well. They'll be on at 8:35, and then we'll wrap up the show with where we're going to be for Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League action next. We'll talk about that later in the show as well. Gentlemen, it's what a season it has been. There's a lot to look forward to. We got some conference realignment coming up. Oh, good. Okay. All right, well,
we have little Eddie with his Blue Jays over there.
He's watching Sports on Tap on an empty monitor, but I guess
that a boy. He's trying to see how it's done, Ed. I think he's going to be fighting you for that job, that hosting duties. I think
it's the show beyond the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. You're not gonna get this anywhere else. So, Rob, I think Sean's got a PowerPoint for the recaps. So how about we get?
He's the man.
Now? We will. We'll focus on the other 7 divisions for the other 6 divisions first, and then we want Rob, since he was at the game, who can focus on the Division II state championship. All right, Division I state championship. Olentangy Liberty against Archbishop Moeller. Liberty gets the win, 28-14. That is their first state championship in program history over one of the most storied teams in Ohio, in Archbishop Moeller. So congratulations to Olentangy Liberty. They take out the reigning defending state champions in the St. Edward Eagles, and then they steamroll. I shouldn't say steamroll, but they finish out their story. All right, Eddie, for real now we gotta be quiet. They finished their story 28-14, big winners in Division I. Congratulations to Olentangy Liberty in their first state championship, win there. All right, let's shift over to Division 3, if Sean doesn't mind. All right. You know what, Sean? We know how you feel about Waterston, so I think I'll take this one too. Bishop Waterston, a win over Toledo Central Catholic. Toledo Central Catholic, both these teams are traditional powers. Central Catholic has been on top of Division 3 for the last few years. But Waterston gets them 19-14. What a great game this game was. And Bishop Waterston gets the win 19-14. All right, let's go to Division 4. Oh, and this game was This game was one of the best games, probably besides the Avon game. This is one of the best games I have seen in high school in the state championship in a while. If anyone wants to comment on this game, if they happen to see it, have at it. Otherwise, I'll keep going. But this game was about as good as it could be, back and forth. It was back and forth. There were no turnovers until the very end when Perkins was not able to. Perkins got turned over late in the game, and Indian Valley got it back, and they were able to take the lead and eventually run the clock out on Sandusky Perkins. Indian Valley 37, Sandusky Perkins 36. Indian Valley, they are, as we've seen in the Anderson game, they were very much against punting the ball. In fact, they were against kicking extra points unless they were forced into it, which they were. Which that extra point they made ended up being one of the differences here in the game. Perkins was every bit their equal. What the biggest difference here, what I noticed was Perkins has an all-state running back, but he got shut down pretty much for the most part here. But their quarterback was phenomenal. I think he threw for like 5 touchdowns in this game. Indian Valley's running back was a monster. That dude. I think he had 34 points in this game by himself. The only points he didn't score, I think, one was the extra point, and maybe a potential another 2-point conversion. So, just one of the best games you'll see. Indian Valley 37, Sandusky Perkins 36.
Yeah, that running back, Ed, was Grady Kinsey. Carried the ball 36 times for 247 yards, scoring 5 touchdowns in the game. Just a fantastic performance, especially, in a big-time game like that. So good job on Kinsey there for really carrying the load for Indian Valley. We couldn't pronounce their name 2 weeks ago. Probably still can't pronounce their name 2 weeks ago, but that's neither here nor there. They are state champions.
And Kinsey made a really heads-up move late in the game. He had a chance to score a touchdown or potentially get more yards. And he slid. He gave himself up, kept the clock running. Then they were able to get the first down to seal the game, which we've seen that in pro games more recently and in college games. And the fact that he had the wherewithal to do that, and quite honestly, he was questioned by the commentators on there pretty hard about it. And quite honestly, I'm glad he made them eat their words, because I thought that was a really smart move by him. Dude obviously scored 34 points. There really was no point in him scoring another touchdown and giving the ball back to Perkins. So heads up move by Kinsey there, and congratulations to the Braves of Indian Valley. All right, sounds good. Division 5, Ironton took on Liberty Center. Ironton with a 28-17 victory over Liberty Center. Congratulations to Ironton. They get another Division 5 state championship.
And props to them, too. They did one of their plays made SportsCenter top 10 over the weekend.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, Josh, if you care to elaborate what the play was, or if you can describe it.
Yeah, it was Ironton. They made it was a good pass. The receiver made an awesome catch, awesome moves after the catch, scored a long touchdown. It was a great throw and catch, and a great run after the catch. Part of their victory.
Yeah, the story of this game, guys, is the performance by Ironton Sean Terry. Just getting this off of the OHSAA website. Caught 10 passes, 148 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also ran for a 67-yard touchdown in the fourth quarter. On the defensive side of the ball, intercepted a pass to end Liberty Center's final possession to help Ironton claim their Division 5 state championship game. Terry was a beast out there, and I spoke to a couple of people that were actually there watching the game, and they said, few players stood out all weekend, except for the play of Sean Terry, who was really, really impressive throughout of all the teams playing this weekend. That's one of the best performances. That's saying a lot considering we just talked about Grady Kaiser from Indian Valley and his performance. But yeah, that's an impressive stat line nonetheless.
Yeah, congratulations to Ironton with their victory over Liberty Center. Division 6. This is a game against some familiar foes. Coldwater. They took it to Kirtland. You don't see Kirtland on the receiving end of a game like this very often, but they made some mistakes. They had a lot of penalties, and Coldwater made them pay, Tim Misney style. Coldwater got a running clock on Kirtland, if you can believe it. That's not something that you see really ever. But the Cavaliers were ready to go today in this game.
It was really impressive by Coldwater. Again, when we get into these divisions, guys, it's really something to be held in the sense that we're going to talk about a team like Coldwater and a team like we're going to talk about next time on our next slide in Marion Local. These two teams are, for Division 6, Division 7, the road goes through them. And that's exactly what we have here in that situation.
Coldwater, they had 295 yards. They outgained Kirtland. Kirtland only had 253 yards. They're quick. They're fast. They're not overly large, but they do the best with what they have. They're quick and they're fast on the defensive end, and they really kept Kirtland off balance in this game. So Coldwater gets their 8th state championship in their program's history. The last time they met in a championship game was 2012, which Coldwater also won. That was by a score of 10-9. And Kirtland, they've had their run-in with the Midwest Athletic Conference in the last few years between Marion Local, Coldwater, and the one that starts with a V that I want to mess up. Sean, all you.
Versailles.
There we go. Perfect. So congratulations to the Cavaliers, and good job, and obviously congratulations to Coldwater on their victory. All right. Well, a game was played. That's about
unbelievable.
About as nice as I can put this one. Marion Local 74, Hillsdale 0. They left absolutely nothing to chance. This was a 16-0 game at halftime.
Crazy.
And I'm not sure what Hillsdale did to them besides just happen to show up for the game because they earned their way here. But man, this was a beatdown.
They were angry, to say the least.
Yeah, and this is Marion Local almost every year. It's never. I can't recall in the last 10 years when Marion Local is involved in a state championship game that it's really ever been in doubt past the first quarter. Marion Local is they do two things on there. They play football and they win state championships, and that's exactly what they did. They took control of this game early and dominated throughout the game. And at that point, your hat's off to them because that's not only the way they won it. Obviously, 74-0 is nothing to shake a stick at, but the fact that I believe they started their game at 10 in the morning, so they got up early and got after it, took care of business, and that's nice to have. Winning a state championship by about lunch, on a Friday, that tends to capture weekend pretty well. So congratulations to Marion Local down there in Maria Stein. They did a great job all year. Again, this is not anything new for them. They do it every year, and now they're starting to do it with a little bit of style, with putting up that many points. But yeah, it was impressive all year for them, and they got the Division 7 state championship pretty efficiently. I would imagine not a lot of things didn't work for Marion local on Friday.
And congratulations, and you know what? And congratulations to Hillsdale. They got to the game. That's no feat. There's only 2 teams they get to play in each division. They get to play 16 games, and they're one of them. So this takes nothing away from Hillsdale's accomplishments. So congratulations to Jeromesville Hillsdale on their state championship appearance. All right, last and certainly not least, Rob Troutman was at this game, the Division II state championship between Avon and Anderson. Rob, you were there. Take it away.
All right, and we'll get this. Let me get the video ready here as we had some highlights from this game. I'll get up for everybody to see, and here we go. All right, so it was a quick one here. First is Avon quarterback Nolan Good got it started early. He went 71 yards to get this party started, and Avon led 7-0 in this game. And it was a statement, I thought, for Avon because they led after 7-0. But then it was the Raptors, Justice Burnham to Aiden McClanahan. 7-7 is a good pass and catch for them. They answered really quick. And Nolan Good, he made some great passes. This was another one in slow-mo. And Matt Maxey almost made an unbelievable catch as he hit the ground. It came out. Again, Avon really did an outstanding job running the football. Nolan Good, you want to talk about a game. Here's a fumble here he had trying to make an extra play. But this kid really came to play. He had 198 yards rushing against what is a really good Cincinnati Anderson team who's used to putting up a lot of points. Obviously, with the snow, it did take a little bit away from the offense in this game, and Anderson came back. They scored here. Justice Burnham, their quarterback, he was sensational in this game. They did have a blocked extra point, which was huge in this game. And then a 20-13, it was Keontae Smith from about 10 yards out as he would score a touchdown. It was 20-13 in this game heading to the fourth quarter. And Cincinnati Anderson, this was a team that you thought was out of it. They went for it on fourth down, close under, I think, the 10-yard line. They had 4 chances, and Avon stopped them. Well, then Avon came down the other way, and they went down, and it looked like they might score. Well, Nolan Good, he did something he usually doesn't do. He threw an interception right here by Ace Alston for the Raptors. He made a huge pick to stop it, and the Raptors were saved right there. Then they went down. They had a great drive, and this was to end the game. They had one last chance to tie it up. They threw it in the corner of the end zone, and one of our guests coming up at 8:35, Aiden Atkins, blocked the ball, knocked it out of bounds, and Avon, with their first state championship, as they get a 20-13 win over Cincinnati Anderson. You could go visit our YouTube page and watch the full highlights. There's only 3 minutes because of OHSAA. They only allow 3 minutes because Spectrum owns the rights there. We'll have some press conference stuff up too from that game. But what a game it was. And I want to give credit. I didn't have the highlight, but Matt Maxey actually caught a 44-yard pass from Nolan Good. And you want to talk about a guy that really came up to play. I'm excited to talk to Nolan about the game because 198 yards rushing on 19 carries. But he also passed the ball for 143 yards and a touchdown. This is a kid I thought that really made a statement with his first run of 71 yards. It was a crazy good game. The crowd really came into this one. When you look at what the weather was, the crowd came a little bit late to this game because of traffic outside, and actually the band and the cheerleaders were there at, I think, 7:05. But what a great game by both teams. Give credit to Cincinnati Anderson. They played a great game as well. Some stats for them. Justice Burnham, he had 156 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown on 32 carries. That's the quarterback for the Raptors. He also had 150 yards passing. He did get sacked twice, but let's give credit to the Avon defense. I mean, they really kept Cincinnati Anderson in check, and like most of these games, these guys went for it a lot on fourth down. I'm excited to talk to Coach Elder. He went for 2. They didn't get it, but they were still up 7. And then one call that I thought was, I mean, it takes a lot of faith in your offense. 4th and 1, I believe, from about the 25-yard line, their own 25-yard line. He believed his running game could get it, and up front was doing a really good job blocking in this game. 4th and 1 from their own 25, and I believe there were about 2 minutes left, and they got the first down, and that pretty much sealed the game for them. I think Cincinnati Anderson would get the ball back, but they only had about 40 seconds. A lot of these drives, the last drive by Avon, Keontae Smith with his 10-yard run, they took 4 minutes and 50 seconds off the clock in that third quarter, and there was no scoring in the fourth quarter. So just a great game. Congratulations to Avon, their first state championship. Like I said, they've gotten close, and Coach Elder in his post-game press conference did mention that they got close but couldn't get over the hump. Well, on this night they got over the hump, and a lot of celebration, a lot of celebrating for the Avon Eagles, and well-deserved for Nolan Good and the rest of the team. I mean, it was something special to see, obviously, at Hall of Fame Stadium. A lot to see there. If you can go down and view some of these games and these championships, it's pretty special. The Hall of Fame did a great job. OHSAA did a great job with everything. If you want to go see the Football Hall of Fame, obviously that's there. It's a great venue really for anything. So try to make it down to Canton and see the Pro Football Hall of Fame because it's pretty special. But congratulations, Dave, on big win, and what a game. I mean, overall, I'm not sure if you guys had a chance to watch from home, but it was cold, it was windy, a lot of snow, and Avon, that didn't seem to stop Avon. I mean, they were still passing the ball, so it was a fun game to be a part of.
Yeah, I did. Go ahead, Sean.
I was going to say that was what surprised me was, given the weather conditions, how much Avon was willing to put the ball in the air, considering how effective it seemed that running game was pretty much throughout the night. I mean, maybe not scoring touchdowns, but at least controlling the game. I feel like they were having a lot of success there, but to put the ball in the air, especially in those conditions, has got to be a tough thing to do. But again, this was such an Avon game to win. You know what I mean? We talked about it all year. They played every type of game, and now they've played a snowy state championship game, and they won and they won it. So they were the team of destiny this year.
Now, Rob, just a quick question for you. I watched some of that game, but it looked like as the weather and the game went on, the weather got a little worse, and that actually kind of hurt, at least for Anderson, who kind of tried to still spread it out 5 wide and try to make those throws. But, how did the weather play into a factor later on in that game as these two teams tried to cope with it on offense?
You're exactly right. In that game, the snow came down harder and harder actually in the second half. The wind was blowing. I think it did favor Avon. Getting that first touchdown, I thought, set the tone for the game. But Avon running, I mean, they found something in Nolan Good running the football. And he ran a lot of up-the-middle runs. Obviously, the one he ran 71 yards, that was early on in the game. But they had a lot of success running the ball up the middle. You can see, some of the other running backs that had LaSalle gave Tyler Kaufman, he had 52 yards, only ran it 8 times. Keontae Smith, 44 yards in that touchdown. He ran it 12 times, and then he had Cam Wendell. He only had 3 rushes for 9 yards. But they had, different guys rushing the football. Receiving, though, Matt Maxey, 3 catches, 83 yards, and his long was 44. Even though it was snowing and it came down, Avon was still passing where I thought the Raptors, that's where it hurt them a little bit. Their passing was pretty inconsistent, and they couldn't get into a good rhythm. Other than on that last drive, they did have a really, really good drive to go down the field and set themselves up for a possible tie. But when you looked at Cincinnati Anderson, I think they would have liked to pass the ball more, because I thought that's one thing that they did so well during the season. They put up a ton of points during the season, but in these conditions, they did a lot of running in, and really on that 4th down call when they were knocking on the doorstep, they called a timeout on 3rd down after they ran 2 plays with Justice Burnham up the middle, And on fourth down, they did the same exact play. I couldn't believe, they called a timeout, and then Justice Burnham ran another quarterback keeper up the middle, and Avon, stuffed it and didn't go anywhere. I thought they might have come up with a little bit better of a play on that, but maybe they thought, there's no way they'll guess that we're going to do it again. But the weather was definitely a factor, and it got worse as it went on with the winds and the snow. But still the offense put up a few points. At least it wasn't a 6-3 game here, but they were able to move the ball. They just not a lot of punting in this game, or kicking for that matter.
Well, the fact that there was no scoring in the fourth quarter had to make that entire 12 minutes be really tense, even on both sides. You know what I mean? Like, just because it really did feel like. And again, I didn't have an opportunity to watch the game live. I kind of watched. I followed Rob and some other media outlets.
Oh, man!
Sorry,
boy!
Sorry, it's been a weekend, guys. But what I found is that, like, even the fans that couldn't be there in person that were following, like myself, were just as on edge because they were checking everything, man. Max Preps, Twitter /X, the Ohio High School Athletic Association, thinking like, oh, is there a glitch? What's happening? Especially when Cincinnati Anderson went on that last drive, and because you knew that was obviously their last gasp, and they were going to do everything they could to get in the end zone. But it was insane the way they went it. And the next thing you know, you see a bunch of Avon players sliding across the field there, and just really celebrating. And you could really see how much it meant to not only the players who worked so hard, but to Coach Elder himself. He's been there almost 20 years, and he's really built that program into what it is today through a lot of hard work by him and his staff. And this is one of those rewards where it's really, really impressive to see them come out and really just take on anything all year and win. So that was really impressive.
Yeah, no doubt. That game, and we'll obviously get into this more a little bit later with Coach Elder, Nolan, and Aiden. Watching the game at home, the game was fantastic, and I'm interested in asking Coach Elder how it feels good, how you prepare for a team that has no intention of punting. Usually on third down, you get a stop on third down. I'm not saying you take a breath, but you're like, all right, cool, I can reset, get this ball back, we're going to get ready to go, after this punt. But that Anderson they don't really play like that. It's 4 downs pretty much all the time. So you're always in 4 down territory. Your defense always has to be alert. And as successful as Anderson was this year, you wonder how much of a, against other teams, how that would have affected them. But that's neither here nor there. Now, that is a very well-deserved head shake of shame from super friend of show, personal friend of mine, coach of the Berea Mid-Park Titans. John Hunek joins us. Deservedly disapproving of us. That's a bad job.
That's just such a disappointing coach shake of the head right there.
Yeah. I'm not mad. Yeah. I'm just disappointed.
There it is.
Yeah. Oh God. Now.
Man, guys, we are getting coached up, and it doesn't get much better than getting coached up by Coach Hunek.
No doubt.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I know that I'm not the state champion coach that you have on today, but man, oh man, at least send me the link to the meeting.
Send him the link. That's a Rob situation.
I know. I thought I did send it, but maybe, who knows? Maybe it didn't go through.
That's okay, Rob. I see how it is, man. It's cool.
You know what, Coach? His fingers are still a little numb from being in Canton on Thursday night with the rain and snow and everything.
It was a
He's
cool
still
one.
thawing out.
For all Berea Mid-Park fans, send all your complaints to sportsontapodcast@gmail.com, care of Rob Troutman.
I know, that's about right.
Personally, he will handwrite you a letter.
I'll send it snail mail too.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
In fact, if he wants to go to Coach Hunek's classroom and write, I will send the link to Coach Hunek 100 times.
What we're gonna do? I got a whiteboard. We'll use it, buddy.
Like it. Coach Hunek, John, Coach, Coach. Thanks for taking the time to join us tonight.
Well, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. A playoff win this year. Going on the road to Lorraine. Talk about that experience and really going into that game. What did you see that you thought you could exploit for Lorraine and have some success?
Well, as you're going to see when you have on, obviously, Coach Elder, we play in a really, really good conference. And so even though we didn't have, an exceptional year with the win-loss record, I mean, the teams we played are exceptional. So they definitely prepared us for the end of the year. And the fact that we had a lot of young kids that really finally got experience. And by the time we got to the last 3 weeks of the season, good leading into the playoffs, we were playing really good football. And so for us, it was more about focusing on what we needed to do, and execute our game plan more than it was necessarily worried about what Lorraine was doing. At the same time, they were just loaded skill-wise. So for us, wanting to shut down inside zone and shut down them getting the ball, do a couple of the receivers who could really go. I mean, that was the goal, and thankfully our defense did a really nice job, and then our offense was able to score some points. So for us, jumping on them early, I think was the big deal, because I hadn't seen on film, because they're a good team, not really get that much tested. So they hadn't had to play in a lot of games in which they had to come from behind. So the opportunity to get up on them definitely helped. I was really proud of the way our kids played and the way our coaches prepared them for the game. I mean, it would have been easy with a challenging year for our kids to not be locked in the whole year and give a great effort and improve every week, and they really did. So that was a lot of fun to be a part of.
Coach, again, obviously didn't end. I mean, for a lot of teams, it didn't end the way you wanted it to. You didn't get to raise the trophy in Canton, but you talked a lot about the progress, especially towards the end of that regular season into the playoffs. Can you touch a little bit on, some of the things that you're happy with, that you guys really kind of came into its own, like some specific players maybe kind of came out of nowhere for you? You mentioned some younger players. Was there something that kind of caught your eye towards the end that like, oh, I didn't expect this, or I'm glad this finally happened?
Well, Sean, like, and I think, I saw Ed earlier in the year, we kind of talked about it, that, we dealt with a ton of injuries this year, just a ton. And we at one point of the year, we were playing 14 sophomores on the field. And so the ability of those kids to get playing time, with a lot of them I didn't expect to really contribute that much this year. I mean, you want to say, obviously, the end goal is to win a conference, win a state championship. And again, we played a great conference, so that's a challenge every year to compete for that. But the opportunity to get those kids time, where I thought they'd be still developing as JV players and thus be prepared for next year, was really cool. So like, our wideout crew was all underclassmen. So whether it be Dylan Maddox, who was hurt for the majority of our year and was supposed to be is a good recruit for us, but missed most of the year with a broken collarbone. Him able to come back in the Lorraine game was big. And then really the growth of Tyson Clay and Nick Reese and Andre Alexander, having them have that opportunity. Plus our offensive line, we really only lose one guy. On offense, we only have to really replace one player. So having those guys all get that opportunity to play a lot was huge. I mean, at the end of the year, our tailback, Justin McDonald, who played really well for us down the stretch, got hurt. And so we played a freshman at tailback the majority of the Lorraine game. And then in our last playoff game, Xavier Harden. And for him to really show what he could do as a freshman playing in a playoff game and starting a playoff game, that's kind of a big spot to be in. But his opportunity to play well was huge. And then finding 3 kids in the secondary that were sophomores that played really well for us at the end of the year. The beginning of the year, we struggled to defend the pass, and we found 3 kids that really took huge ownership into that: Mason Nichols-Price, Andre Alexander, who I mentioned, and Nate Byland. And they became really, really good players at the end of the year. I mean, I see them as future all-conference players, future all-Ohio players, and the opportunity to see what they could do before they're forced to be on the field next year was huge for us. I mean, it was really great.
Coach, thank you again for taking the time to join us, and it's great talking to you again.
It's good to see you, Noah.
This is your third playoff win in the last 4 seasons, and you guys as a program have really taken the next step forward and becoming one of the elite programs in the SWC, competing at a high level. Just kind of talk about how important has it been for your program the past 4 years, just be able really been competing at a high level in the SWC and inclusively the Northeast Ohio in general.
Sure. I mean, like you'd said, the SWC is a great conference. I mean, it really is. And to be able to compete at a high level there is awesome. I mean, we didn't have the record we wanted this year, but every game, in the SWC besides Avon was a score game or a few points. And that's with playing young kids. So the opportunity to build on that moving forward has been huge for us. We try to take the example of the other guys in our program, the other schools in our program that have been really successful. I mean, again, you see Coach Elder at Avon, the success that they just had. We're trying to reach for that same, reach for that ring that they've set in the conference. And so using them kind of as, a guide to get to is big, but at the same time, really just focusing on improvement and the old building. Every school I've learned in my, fifth job, coaching-wise, every school's so different. Demographics are different, the community's different. And so, trying to build it within your community to the strengths and challenges of your community is different for everybody. And so the fact that we had the opportunity to win another playoff game in 3 and 4 years, like you said, but also be the first time in our school district's history that we've had back-to-back years with a playoff win. I mean, I'm talking Berea or Mid-Park, so over 100 years of school district, I think sets our kids up to understand that we're headed in a great direction. And then the goal is to win a conference championship. The goal is to win a state championship, and that's what I said when I came in. So, we're going to continue building. We're going to make the most of the opportunities we have with a lot of returning starters, and see what we got next year, and just have fun along the way with it.
John, I was curious. You've been a part of, I believe, 7 state championship games.
Yep.
You've with different programs. Coach Elder's been there with Avon many times, but he finally got over the hump. Can you just describe from a coaching standpoint what it's like going through that grind and getting to that game and just playing for all or nothing? It's a state championship game, and you've been successful as part of a coaching staff. You've reached that mountaintop. So can you just describe what's that like for coaches and the players, what it's like to for that grind?
It's a combination, I think, of, and Mike, I'm sure will tell you, he's had it more recent than I have, so I'm sure it'll be good to hear what he has to say. But, for me, it's elation, but it's also relief, Josh, to be honest with you. It's a long season. It's one game longer than it was, last time I won one. So it's a grind, and the ability, which I'm sure Coach Elder did a nice job of, the ability to manage reps in practice and keep your kids fresh and healthy as the year goes on and excited to be there does get to be a challenge. He's been at that, regional final level, state, semi-state championship for the last few years. So those are long seasons, and there's the benefit because you can get those younger guys more practice reps and more time because football's so limited with the time that you have because of the type of game it is. So getting that extra practice, I think, is huge for even building for the next year. So I'm sure that puts Coach Elder and his team, excited for the next season as well. But there's that relief that I don't want to say that it's over, but that you finally accomplished it. You accomplished the goal. It's that relief and that weight off your shoulders. I'm sure that you did what you needed to do. I remember the first one we got at St. Ed's. It was we had not thought we were going to be that good that year, and all of a sudden we're 14-0 in the state championship game playing Braxton Miller, Huber Heights Wayne, and we were down at half 2 scores, and it was more of that. My gosh, we got all this way, we put all this time and effort in, and it's going to be for nothing, so to speak. I mean, obviously that's not true, but that's how you feel, and the ability to win those games when it comes to it, it's a tight game. I mean, just like they had, it's elation and it's just as much relief, I think. I'm sure Coach will feel a similar way.
Now, you were a part of both football and hockey.
Yes, sir.
What did you like better, and what was more difficult?
Football's way more difficult. Now I was lucky that with hockey that, and I was lucky with both sports that we had really good players. I mean, Coach will tell you the same thing. I'm sure every coach will tell you this. You don't get that far without a really good team with regards to players. I mean, coaching will get you there, but it's more the Jimmies and the Joes than the X's and the O's, right? So it's just different. The hockey tournament, actually, to be honest with you, Josh, this might sound dumb, but the ability to coach hockey, I think, has helped me prepare our teams now for success in the playoffs, because I worry, and I think it helped our team this year with having a little bit of a struggle in the middle point of the year, because in hockey everybody gets in the tournament, right? And so for us, we always thought, whether it was at Ed's or Ignatius, and I got the chance to coach at both places, that you want to play really good teams at the beginning of the year because you want to peak at the end of the season, and play your best hockey, in that case, at the end of the season. Now with the playoffs expanded in football and a good chance you're going to get in, that was kind of my message to the team throughout the whole season as well, even when we had our struggles, was we want to be good in the playoffs. So if these lessons that we're learning help make us a better team then it's worthwhile, And it wasn't like that in football before, when we were at Eds and in Maple Heights before that, you really had to struggle to get in. 8 teams made it in. So, getting there was a big part of it. Just to be there first was a big part of it. And you're kind of letting it ride from there. So both have their benefits. I'll be honest with you. I was more of a hockey player in high school, and was late to football and played on some really good teams at Padua, but never had the chance to win it all. And I was on the bench at Ignatius when we won with my little brother who had the same thing. He lost in 2 state championship games as a player. And so to be able to win it with him, on the bench together with Coach O'Rourke, who's a good friend of mine, that was a pretty cool experience, and I remember in Ed's winning it when it was snowing, just like it was for Avon this past week, and that was a really cool experience. So I think they're all great, just different, and different. I've been really lucky to be a part of all those. So now hopefully one day I can get us here at Berea into that same situation, and that's the goal, and we keep working towards that.
Yeah, and I think since you've been at Berea Mid-Park, you've noticed a huge difference. I mean, your team has competed and kept getting better and better every year. Now, when you make the playoffs, is there a difference between the regular season as a coach and prepping and getting your players ready? Is there a difference between the playoffs and regular season? Like, it seems like there's a different feel, obviously, when you go to the games, but for a coach, is there really a difference between the regular season and when you make the playoffs?
I think it's way more fun, to be honest with you, Rob. I guess, and maybe I'm, again, very lucky to have the experiences that I had, so I have that level of success in the playoffs. But I think it's fun because now in our conference, our coaching staffs have seen each other so much, so you know what to expect from each other. At the same time, if you try to do new stuff, is your kid's going to be able to execute it, all those type of things. When you get in the playoffs, it's fun if you see guys you've never seen before. So like playing in Lorraine, regardless of the outcome, I never felt, and I think our coaching staff never felt like stressed about it. It's more about, this is really cool to play a new team at a new place. Let's just let it hang out. Whatever happens, happens, especially with us being the underdog. It is different, I believe, when you're like the highest seed. You want to get upset. You're worried about those type of things, a little more stressful. But even when we went to Perrysburg in the second round, we thought we had a good shot. And I think if we would have played a better full game, we would have. But the opportunity to take our kids to a new place and experience that, to me, it's just fun, and that's what football's about, and that's cool stuff. So for me, I think it's more exciting because it's just a cool experience for the kids to be in together. And as I continue to get out here, and hopefully we continue to go farther and farther in the playoffs, I don't know if that'll change for me, but it's been really cool to have those opportunities that even if your season is up or down, in the playoffs you never know. So It's kind of that fresh season. It's exciting. It's almost like week 1 again, except now your kids know what they're doing a little bit, and you know what you kind of do well and kind of don't. And for me, it's fun, especially from an offensive perspective. Like, I love scheming against somebody new that I haven't seen before. I just think that's a lot of fun.
Talking with Berea Mid-Park head coach John Hunek. I have 2 questions. One, building on that point, in the SWC, a lot of those, to your point, when you talk about familiar teams, a lot of those teams are in Division II, Region 6. So there's a really good chance that they're going to run into each other at some point in time again. In Division I, Region 1, you don't have that.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of Elyria. So that speaks to your point. And although the way Division I set up now, a lot of the teams that St. Ed's played while you were there are still there. You're there with Berea Mid-Park now. It's been years since you've seen them now.
Yeah.
So those are certainly, this is more of a commentary, I guess. So that speaks to what you're saying there, and more or less talking about that. My actual question is, I obviously followed you for a lot of your, not obviously, no one knows that. But I followed you for a lot of the playoff runs you've been to. The Braxton Miller game was fantastic. I was the first run you had was with that I was really paying attention to was when Shaq Washington was a junior at Maple Heights, state championship game against Winton Woods. He's leading Maple Heights right now. I'm just curious, do you guys communicate at all at any point?
We still get along really well. We passing scrimmage each other every year. We scrimmage each other, and me and that coaching staff and I are really tight still. I love those guys. I mean, that was really where it cut my teeth as a coach. And Shaq and I have really been close ever since I coached him. I think one of the toughest decisions I ever had to make as a coach was leaving Maple Heights before their senior year to go to St. Ed's when I was really close with Shaq and a few of his other teammates. But it's always great to see him. It's cool to see that staff because a lot of those guys are still there that I coached with. We always try to get together at clinics and stuff like that. So it's awesome, and I've been really lucky to have a lot of guys that I've coached now, coaching, whether it be Shaq at Maple Heights, or I have a lot of guys that are now in college football that have been texting me the last couple of weeks, and I have a Matt Wilson who's now the head coach of Leary who coached with me, and I got a few guys on my staff that have played for me. It's just really cool. It's hopefully that I'm doing some things right if guys want to get into coaching who I've been lucky enough to coach with. Either that or they're saying, man, this guy really sucked. I knew I'd do a way better job than him. This is so easy. My God, if he can coach us to win, I know I can.
That was that was a really, really fun year to watch. Even though it was hard, it was a heart-wrenching decision. In a weird way, it worked out. Is you got a state championship, and they got a state championship.
Yeah.
It just wasn't together, but it was after seeing them come so close against Winton Woods, it brought back a lot of the same guys, and it was just a matter of time before they were gonna get it done, and they certainly did. So that's really cool. I'm glad. I'm happy to hear that you still got a relationship with Shaq and those guys as well. Well, Coach, we'll get you out of here. We want to thank you again for taking the time to join us. Sorry about the mishap earlier. We will.
It's okay.
You're the best, Coach.
Put that in the scouting report.
Rob will be docked 1 day of pay for his mistake.
I know. I'm suspended.
You guys get paid.
Yeah. Wait, we do?
I mean,
Yeah. I haven't gotten my tax return yet, my pay stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
This is like volunteer time. You guys got to be able to write this stuff off, all these expenses. Well, I got to tell you guys, though, I really appreciate everything you guys do for high school sports. I mean, I appreciate you having me on as the opening act here for Coach Elder. But it's I just can't say enough about what a great job you guys do and how much fun it is. If anybody... My dad really enjoys getting to listen to me. I'll never listen to this again. My wife will. But
oh, come on. You got to play it back.
I get told, no, I can't.
You're a great speaker.
I embarrass myself, number one, and I can't even watch myself on the sidelines at games. Like the kids pick out every time I act like a darn fool on the sidelines or something like that, and they circle me in film, and they share that film with me, and they're always harassing me. So it's a tough thing for me, but I appreciate everything you guys do. And if you wouldn't mind, tell Coach Elder I said congratulations. It's awesome for him to finally get his, and it's great for our conference.
Absolutely.
From a multi-state champion to a first-time state champion. We're looking forward to that interaction. Thanks again, John. And I will obviously I'll talk to you guys through the text messages as needed. But thanks again. Great season, and we look forward to we'll catch up in the spring when we start doing our spotlights again.
Hit me up for flag football, Ed. That's a huge deal for us now, man. Girls flag football.
Football?
Going there. Yeah, we had a great team last year in our first year. Right now we got 64 girls signed up for flag football.
Wow, nice.
It's blowing up, guys.
All right, well,
we might have to do it.
It's blowing up. Give me an opportunity
I'd have to do
about how great it is.
An SOT featured flag football game.
That'd be awesome, man. I know that you guys down so you can see what it's all about. It's really cool.
Oh, heck yeah. That's
Coach,
awesome.
I thought you wanted Ed to play flag football with a bunch
it's
of
girls flag football. I don't want the girls to beat up on Ed too much.
That's what I was concerned about. We need Ed.
I don't want Ed to light me up, man. I was a quarterback. He'll take me out, and I'll be down for a while. It'll be bad news. Well, thanks again, guys. You have a great holiday.
Yeah, you too, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Have a great one. Have a great hockey season, too.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, bye, guys.
See ya.
That is head coach of the Berea and Mid-Park Titans, John Hunek, joining us on the show. Again, not the as he mentioned, not actually win-loss, not where they want to be, but another playoff victory. Noah brought up, 3 out of 4 years with playoff wins, first time in Berea or Mid-Park history of back-to-back playoff wins seasons. So Coach Hunek has that program going in the right direction. And with as many young guys that got the playing time as they did, that we're looking for some good things from the Titans. in the future. All right, from one state champion to another, we are joined by the state champion head coach of the Avon Eagles, Coach Mike Elder, joins us on the show. Coach Elder, congratulations and welcome.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. I was trying to join on my computer, thought I was having some issues, but I think maybe I just was a little early.
Well, Rob has this issue where he doesn't like sending links out to anybody anymore, so that might have been part.
So
look at
the coach. Coach, there's a lot to talk about here, but let's congratulations again. What a game! Talk about the atmosphere of the state championship game. Last time you made it was about 13 years ago. You slayed Hoban, and getting back to this level, that night. Just talk about the atmosphere leading up to it, and as the game was progressing.
Are you talking about the Hoban game or the state championship game? I'm sorry.
State championship game, Coach. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to talk about the Hoban game because that was a lot of fun. Something that I honestly didn't get to enjoy because, there was such a quick turnaround to get ready for the state championship game. So, you beat Hoban on a Friday and ultimately you're in a hurry because now you got to get ready to play for the state championship on a Thursday. But it was an amazing atmosphere. Our kids have played in that stadium before, which was very beneficial, I think, to us, for our players to kind of already been in the locker room, been out on that field. We've been on that sideline when we played Camp McKinley. So that was nothing new to the players, which was nice. But it's just such a great venue, and obviously our community showed up and represented very well. We had a great crowd there. It was a snow globe game, and I don't think it gets any better. I mean, it was just a perfect setting and a perfect night for a state championship high school football game in Ohio.
Coach, it was impressive, and when I got to watch a little bit of the feedback and some of the replays, I just wrote down on my notes. I said it was such an Avon 2024 type of game because you guys, and I've mentioned this, we talked about it, you guys have pretty much had every type of game this year. You've had close wins, you've had to come from behind, you've had to play some really good teams and play some really good defensive games. You've been able to throw the ball over the yard, you've been able to run the ball. What, going into that, did you get a feel of, what type of, success you were going to have against Anderson, or was it when you got there and realized the conditions, you kind of had to scrap a little bit of what you guys had, or did that affect it at all?
Yeah, no, we game planned for Cincinnati Anderson and knew that they had an explosive, high-powered offense that they love to go fast. And when I say fast, I'm talking warp speed fast. They don't like to punt. They did punt once in our game, and clearly we weren't back there to field it, so they got like a 50-some-yard punt, and it really bit us. So they switched the field on that punt. It worked out well for them. But going into the game, we felt like we could run the ball and that we could be physical. If you really look at high school football, a lot of times defensively, teams are good at defending what their offense does. And so Cincinnati Anderson, I think, lives in a league where everybody's 3x1, 2x2 open sets, and they feast on that. They had a lot of tackles for losses, a lot of sacks. And we can certainly play football at Avon in that way. We try to be multi-dimensional. But we felt like our best, strategy would be to get in some 12 personnel and run the football and make them stop the run and be the more physical team. So the weather conditions, quite honestly, played into what we would like to do in that game, as opposed to what they wanted to do. And we pride ourselves on being able to run it when you need to and throwing it when you need to. And those weather conditions made it hard to throw the ball. And we did throw it, but thankfully we were running it well enough that we didn't have to throw it a lot.
Coach, congratulations on winning the state championship. And it was great talking to you back in July. And even the first game of the season, it's St. Nations at Cleveland Brown Stadium. What a great environment that is to start off your season. But I just want to kind of talk about, you've had a lot of alumni come through Avon, and I could just name almost any player that has come through your program throughout your 18-year career. But how important was it to really share that state championship with all that alumni throughout your 18-year head coaching career?
Yeah, our players understood that, we're trying to win this thing for them, no question. Our players this year worked exceptionally hard. Our coaches worked exceptionally hard. and we wanted to win it for both of those. At least I did, but our players wanted this badly for all the alumni and all the guys who have taken this journey before them and fallen short. And the one thing I learned through this whole experience is the state championship's an amazing moment, right? It's a moment, and it's a moment we'll never forget. It's something that'll be with us the rest of our lives. But the reward is truly in the journey. Like, we didn't practice today, and it makes me sad that it was over. And I know we won the game, but I wanted to practice. I wanted to be out there with my friends that are coaches and these kids, and I hated it. So the reward is truly in the journey. And in Avon, I've taken 17 journeys before this that have all been unique and different. They've all taught us lessons through winning and losing, the ups and downs, all the adversity. And so I love each and every journey, and this journey was no exception. It just ended with one of the coolest moments. And so I recommend that moment to anybody. It's not what you get, but, we certainly wanted to share that moment with all of our alumni who didn't get that opportunity. But it doesn't minimize their seasons, because they had great, successful seasons in their own right.
Coach, before we move on, we had John Hunek from Berea Mid Park on before. He wanted to say congratulations and way to represent the SWC. It's not only big for you guys, obviously, but it's big for the conference to have a state champion. It's something that the conference could, strive to do, and it's doable. That's the important thing. But my question to you is, after you won, did you have some time to relax, or was it? I know you've been doing a lot of media, so we appreciate you coming on. But have you had time to kind of sit back and kind of relive what happened, kind of reflect on your journey that you mentioned, and when you did get home and you're able to settle down, who was that one person that you really looked forward to talking to about this victory?
Yeah, well, I appreciate that question, and it still hasn't really settled down. There's been so many people reach out, and a lot of them are our alumni, my former players, and to me, that means the absolute world. So I was not going to not get back to every single one of those kids who took the time to congratulate me and our program, and so that took some time. I'm talking 600-700 text messages that I wanted to respond to, and I finally have. Now I'm just getting caught up on some emails because if you take the time, it's certainly something that means something to me. Today, I just talked to a former player from Alliance High School back in my days when I was an assistant coach back in Alliance, so it's been amazing. But, my wife has been ultra supportive. Erin has really had my back through this whole thing. My mom lives with me. She's 82 years old. She has dementia, so we take care of her together. And, sometimes people don't realize all the things that go on behind the scenes, and she has just been my rock and been so supportive. And so sitting down with her and just really taking time to enjoy it was nice. And there was one night where I stayed up till probably like 3-4 in the morning, just looking at things on social media and enjoying like the videos and the moments of the game that I didn't get a chance to do yet. So I still want to do that more, to be honest with you. I want to go back and watch that Hoban tape one more time without the state championship game looming, and just enjoy that. Because there's just so many things that were a lot of fun. But in all fairness, I'd rather be practicing today. So unfortunately, they're not letting us anymore. So we're just going to wait till next year.
But have you already started prepping for 2025?
Yeah, well, we're getting ready for our banquet. Our banquet's this Sunday.
Nice.
And I told our coaches, we're going to give our kids till January, the returning players, that is. And then we're putting this away. For those kids, they got to put it away. I'm sorry, but they just do. For the seniors, they can keep it open forever. They can celebrate the rest of their lives. But for the underclassmen, the sophomores and juniors, January 1st hits. It's a new year, and it's a new season, and the new journey begins.
Nice.
Absolutely. And what a journey. You talked about the journey in your post-game press conference, and I thought it was really well said. You've been in the playoffs so many times, and you've won the SWC, you've made it far into the playoffs. With your journey, was there ever a time where you get so frustrated that you're like, man, I just can't get over the hump, and you face all kinds, like you said, of difficult challenges, but it seems like finally, obviously in this moment, you got over that hump. But other times, was it tough? To keep making it far, and then and frustrating for obviously you and the players.
It certainly was, but again, it was very discouraging, and quite honestly, I didn't know if I'd ever win a state championship in my career. And the good news is that that wasn't my ultimate goal. It's not my why. It was a goal. Don't get me wrong. We said we wanted to win a state championship. But my why and purpose has always been to use this game to teach young men valuable life lessons. And I mean that wholeheartedly. And I think any kid who's ever gone through our program understands that we practice what we preach. We say that all the time. And our program's been turning out really good young men for the longest time. Like, there's just some incredible kids that are doing incredible things in this world that have played in our program. And certainly our program's not responsible for all their success. But I'd like to think we had a hand in developing some pretty good human beings that are going to go out and do wonderful things in this world. So that's ultimately the goal. So the frustration, as much as it was there, and you wanted to win that last game so badly because you know how hard everybody worked, it wasn't discouraging because the new journey meant a new set of kids, other unique circumstances and situations, and basically a new opportunity to teach kids some life lessons that they'll carry with them after their days of football are done. Because if all we're doing is producing a state champion and all they've learned is how to win football games, we really haven't done our job. But our program's more than that, and that's the best part about it.
We're talking with the head coach of the Division II state champion Avon Eagles, Mike Elder. Well, Coach, let's talk about the Hoban game. As you mentioned, that was the team that was in your way for quite a while, and I think you outlined it too in past media, where that journey started years ago to from blowouts to closer games to leading to finally beating them. What was that thrill, knowing that you still had another game, but having defeated them? How was the feeling after that game, and as that game was going through? After you and the Eagles finally got them.
Yeah, I can tell you that, going into the game, our guys were confident. They were very confident. And I'll be honest with you guys, Medina Highland was an outstanding football team. And I told our kids when we were playing Medina Highland, because I was fearful that we've had some success against Medina Highland, that they may overlook them, thinking that, the biggest obstacle is Hoban. And I said, okay, guys, if we don't have a great week of practice and you don't understand who Medina Highland is, because all you have to put on the tape and do is see it, then don't be surprised if Medina Highland's winning the state championship. And it kind of got everybody's attention, like, wait a minute here. And I wasn't joking about that. Medina Highland had a great football team, and we got off to a fast start with those guys, or who knows, this season could have ended right then and there. But we were, 8 points better that day. So then when you get to the Hoban game, the best part is I didn't have to guard against overconfidence. I wanted them to be confident. So we were trying to guard against overconfidence against Medina Highland because it would have been unjust because Highland was so good. But then the next game, when you're getting ready to play Akron-Hoban, I wasn't worried about that. I needed them to believe they could win. And I think going into that game, they felt like they were going to win the game. And it was the first time that I think I had a group that actually walked on the field, not thinking they had a chance, but actually thinking, this is our year and we're going to beat you. And I didn't do anything with that confidence because we needed it. And they played that way, and we were able to have a 35-10 victory.
Yeah, in coaching the championship game, you're faced with so many tough calls. And I know, there was the one where you went for two, to obviously get up by 9 points and basically, put that game away. You didn't get it, but you were still up 7. And then talk about the fourth down call. You were deep into your territory. It was 4th and 1. And you could tell you believed in your offensive line, who I thought had a great day blocking for Nolan Good, who had 198 yards rushing. I thought overall, running the football, you guys are so well balanced. Even though the snow and the wind with that game, you guys did a little bit of both. Like you said, you passed when you had to, but success running the football was evident in that game, and really it starts up front. I thought they won the line of scrimmage, but 4th and 1, and I thought I was seeing things. I'm like, wait, they're in their 25, but I knew in the snow punting was not going to be easy. So what kind of decision making did you have to do, or was it that a really easy decision to go for it on 4th down there to get the win?
Well, it wasn't an easy decision, because I can tell you guys that if we didn't get the 4th and 1, you wouldn't be talking to me right now, and I'd be the dumbest coach in the United States of America. I'm well aware of that. So, but my rationale, obviously, in that moment was simple. We're netting about 30 yards a punt, and then you're punting into the wind in that particular situation. And I felt like the best scenario is if you punt it away on 4th and 1, you got a team that's really highly explosive with the ball on their own 40-yard line. They go for it every time with 4 downs. And we were giving them a short field, and so I felt they're going to have a short field from there, or our defense has just as much chance of stopping them from the 14 the one time as well. And so, 4th and 1, there was a calculated risk. We were winning the line of scrimmage, and I felt like, I wanted to keep the ball and try to flip the field, if not score points to put it away. And we went for it, and thankfully we got 2 yards, and we needed 1. If it doesn't go that way and they score right away, I'm sure that, people are going to have a strong opinion of me. But our players didn't blink. I didn't blink. Our coaches all supported the decision. Those are the people who matter the most. And thankfully we got it. And then next play we hit a big pass, and then we hit another big pass. And then we got down into their territory and unfortunately turned the ball over down there, but they intercepted it on the 3-yard line. So now they had 97 yards to go. And, that was the drive that obviously took the last 4 minutes of the game, and our defense was finally able to get the stop on the last play, and we became state champs. So it worked out, but I'm smart enough to know that it may not have, but I would do it all over again and make the same decision, even if the result was different. I felt like it was the right thing to do that time.
Well, you made a lot of right calls this year. Let's put it that way.
A few. There's some I did not make that were right. Trust me. I really don't have a crystal ball in my pocket. So I always tell people after the fact when they question decisions and calls, I said, man, had I known the outcome, I would have definitely done it different too. I promise you that. But you don't have a crystal ball. So you just do the best with what you have. And in that particular case, it worked out. Thank goodness.
Coach, I got one more question for you before we get out of here. Specific to Anderson, knowing that that's a team that goes for it on 4th down every single, for the most part, you got them to punt once, but they go for it all the time. How do you prepare for that, especially as a defense, knowing that usually you have to worry about 3 downs, and then the punt is its own thing, with a different set of personnel usually out there, but for 4 downs every single time. How does the defense prepare to and keep that focus for potentially 4 straight plays and continue if they go for it 4 times and get it? That's a 16-play drive pretty efficiently there.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question, and it's something we did address all week with our players because sometimes it's demoralizing. For instance, 4th and 1 on our own 14, when you get that and then you get the first down, that defense, man, it's a punch in the gut. And so I wanted our kids to know all week long that, look, they're going to go for it on 4th down. They're a high-powered offense. They're going to convert some of these, and we're just going to play the next play. But because they take those risks and gambles, what you wanted to do is say, okay, they're going to go for it one of these times, backed up, like the first series of the second half. We had them, I think, in a 4th and 9 or 4th and 10. It was a 4th and long, and they would have given us the ball on the 20, 25-yard line, and quarterback scrambled, made it an outstanding play, and they got a first down. And they ended up going on and scoring on that drive. But had they not gotten that, then we have that short field. So we just talked about just continuing to play. You can't celebrate after 3rd downs. Normally you see defenses throw the 4th down sign up. There was none of that because we needed to play 4th downs. And we just needed to win a few of those to really turn the game is what we told our players. And we did win a few, and they actually did punt the one time as well. So it was just a different mindset. They're aggressive, and I don't blame them. They're really good at what they do on offense, but we're aggressive too, and that kind of played into my 4th and 1 situation too. If they were going to be aggressive and do that, then certainly we had to have an element of that in us as well, because we weren't playing not to lose the state championship. We were playing to win it, and I think our kids appreciated that.
There's no doubt about that. Well, Coach, congratulations again. Thanks for taking the time to join us. We're so happy for your program, for the city of Avon, for the SWC, Lorain County. Just a tremendous journey, and being that you are you're from the Mount Union side of things, Coach Karras never really celebrated too much. He was on to the next one pretty much right away too. So I'm not surprised about your mindset once January hits.
Yeah, I'll probably celebrate 2 weeks longer than Coach Karras would have. He would have already put this to bed. But
That's a good point.
sorry, Coach. I'm gonna give it at least a few more weeks and enjoy Christmas and the holidays before we put it away.
Absolutely. Well, it's well deserved, and congratulations on being a state champion now. I mean, it's put a lot of hard work in, and it's well deserved. And we appreciate you always spending time with us and getting players to come on, and it's always great talking to you.
Well, I appreciate you guys, and hopefully have a couple of our guys on tonight. They'll represent us well because they're great kids from great families. So I'm looking forward to tuning in.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
All right. Well, thank you. So that is appreciated, Coach. That is head coach of the Division II state champion Avon Eagles, Mike Elder, taking some time out of answering the myriad of text messages and emails. Just a tremendous accomplishment, and it doesn't get any better than hearing from former players, alumni, and the like. All right, with that, we are joined by some future alumni that as of the end of the year here, seniors. We are joined by senior safety Aiden Atkins and senior quarterback Nolan Good of the Division II state champion Avon Eagles. Aiden, Nolan, congratulations. Thanks for taking the time to join us tonight. I think I know the answer to this, but how you guys doing?
Thank you guys for having us.
Yeah, doing great. Appreciate you guys having us on.
No problem.
Coach Elder lamented the fact that you guys do not have practice today. Do you feel the same?
Yeah, a little sad. I was looking forward to seeing all my friends out there today at practice, but unfortunately we didn't have it. But the championship makes up for it.
There you go.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we were on the news this morning, and I told Coach Elder, I said, "Are you sure we don't have practice later today?" Like, it felt like I was going to gear up and get ready to go and practice today. But like Aiden said, just looking back on the season that we had, it makes up for the feeling of lost.
Yeah, you guys were what on Fox 8 this morning? Is that where you guys were? How was that? You guys are like TV stars now.
Yeah, it's doing
cool.
the weather.
It was super cool. It was like it was like a big old room with all these cameras. It was like I've never been in something like that before. And it was just super cool being on TV with all the interviewers.
Absolutely, that was.
Yeah, that's a fantastic thing, and I would talk to when we were talking to Coach Elder. I mentioned this, but I just again, your guys' season has been really kind of up and down, and not up and down in the sense of losses and wins, but just you guys have had every kind of game you could think of, close games, got to come back, got to battle back, defensive battles, and it was funny because Rob's highlight video showed Nolan's run to open the game, and he scores a touchdown in a state championship game, and he turns around, and he's calming everybody down. Nolan, what's up, man? I'd have been throwing up, let's get crazy. What was behind that little gesture? Was it just, hey, we got to stay focused, or?
I mean, like Coach Elder said, we preached all pregame and all week that, play the next play. Can't get too high, can't get too low. And it was just my way of playing the next play. All right, cool, we score, but everybody can calm down now. We can chill, set the tone, go about our business, do what we do, and I think that's what we did.
That's awesome.
Nolan and James, congratulations on winning the Division II state championship, and what an incredible accomplishment that is for you guys.
I think a robot took over.
And for Avon football,
We're losing Nolan.
Yeah.
But for you, Nolan, I mean, you going. Am I good to go?
Well, if you're going to ask
really.
Aiden, I think you sound okay now, Noah.
Yeah, try it again now. You were going in and out. You sound a little bit like a robot, but I think you might be better now.
All right. For you, Nolan, I mean, congratulations, and James, on the Division II state championship and one of the critical accomplishments that is. But for you, Nolan, I mean, going through that injury that you had last year in the Olmsted Falls regional semifinal game that you had, and for you to come out the way that you did to get a state championship, just talk about the journey that you've been through, like from that injury to now becoming a state champion. How incredible has that been throughout the journey that you've been through?
Yeah, I mean, you know, a lot of adversity, a lot of ups and downs. Just kind of had to put my head down and get back to work with that injury. Had to go through some physical therapy and try to get myself in the best shape possible for basketball season, and then basketball translating into the off season for football. But I would just say that this summer and the first 3-ish weeks of this season was really huge for me in terms of confidence booster, just knowing that I still had it somewhere in me and I could still make the same plays, still the same player as I was last year. And then, you know, even to put forth the effort that I made in the offseason to get better, you know, I think I had a better season than last year, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud to, you know, feel like that with the work that I put in. I feel like it really did pay off. But, yeah, collarbone, it sucked. You know, nobody wants to go out on a season-ending injury, and especially in time and place that it occurred last year. But, you know, what's a comeback without a setback? So had to battle through some adversity, and I can't control any of that, but it is what it is. And it worked out ultimately, as we all know.
Aiden, from a defensive standpoint in the state championship game, you know, when the weather was like it was snowy, a lot of people say that would benefit the offense because they know where they're going and the defense does not. But you guys were able to keep Anderson, who's 5 wide, tempo, you know, run and gun, or I should say throw the ball around. So from a defensive point of view, how were you able to, you know, keep them in check by also, you know, just manning the weather and doing your best from a defensive point of view in that game?
Yeah, we knew they were going to be a tough offense to stop if they're 5 wide and all of the playmakers that they have on the outside. With the snow, I think that had them running a lot more. Obviously, with their quarterback, he had a lot of QB sneaks. I think it's brought a different challenge to us. We weren't really expecting them to do that. We expected them to attack the edges more on us. But that was a different thing. I mean, we were expecting to see the pass, and we've been seeing the run weeks. We've been seeing the run all week, weeks ahead in the playoffs. And so we been prepared for anything that was going to come our way. And just hats off to the coaches for preparing us for that.
Now, how fun was it playing in that game? To be honest with you, watching it on TV and then watching some, you know, Rob's highlight video, you guys looked like you were having a ball out there, just slipping, sliding around, bouncing off each other. Did it have an effect where at one point did you not feel the cold? It was cold and windy. How was that for you guys?
Yeah, it was honestly the most fun game I've ever had in my life. Probably one of the best times of my life, to be honest, as you guys can probably see. It was like a feeling you've never expected, and just like with your brothers and like all the work that we put in since May 20th, it just feels so good knowing that it paid off and that no one could take that away from you.
Yeah, I mean, there was just a chance, like I had an opportunity to just kind of take it in the middle of the game, just looking up at the sky and seeing all the lights and the scoreboard and the crowd and everybody that came to support us in the biggest game of our lives. With that type of snow, it was so surreal. It did not feel like you were in a real life setting. Like it looked like you were looking in a VR or like a movie. Like it didn't feel real. Not everything happened perfectly, but the outcome was perfect. And that type of game to play, I wouldn't ask for anything else. The state championship game, last game, senior year, 16-0 season. You can't ask for anything more, just to end it with a scenic view of a state championship victory with all your guys.
Yeah, and I have 2 questions, one for Nolan and one for Aiden. But first, Nolan, your 71-yard run, I mean, you ran so efficiently, and your offensive line gave you the holes, and you just seemed to run through them and outrun, really, Cincinnati Anderson a lot that night. You had 198 yards rushing, but then you passed the ball really well. Talk about that 71-yard run. Do you think that kind of set the tone for the game? Because you guys really did come out and kind of punched them in the mouth a little bit with that run out of the gate, really. I mean, everyone on the sidelines was like, whoa, all right, they're coming to play early and often. Your offense was still moving the ball very successfully. But talk a little bit about that run, because I thought that really set the tone early on.
Yeah, I mean, Everybody watches film, but coming in, our game plan was run the ball until they stop it. And we really did feel like we had the advantage up front in the trenches and with our running backs. And then even me being able to run the ball a little bit. So coming in the game, we had that on our minds that we're going to just try and pound the ball, and then ultimately set up some play action plays, which is what sprung Matt open for a touch. Actually, two big plays. He had two post catches later. Well, one in the first half, and then later in the second half, he had another one. But just the game plan that our coaches were able to set up for us, just to put us in the best position possible to win. I mean, you can't thank them enough. But yeah, that run play, you can kind of get a feel for how a game's going to go early in terms of what's working early, and how, just some teams hit harder than others. Some teams, are better tacklers than others. And that's not to say that Cincinnati Anderson was a bad tackling team, because they're a very good tackling team. But you can just kind of tell what's kind of clicking and what's working. And I had maybe one run before the 71-yarder, and I think I got like 8 or 9 yards on it, and I was feeling pretty confident. Felt like I could, do some damage on the ground, and it worked. I mean, the game plan worked. It just kept chugging away, kept chipping away, and until the clock hit 0.
Yeah, I mean, you still threw for 143 yards. You could tell your offense just moving the ball. They had problems stopping. You guys just have so many weapons, whether it's wide receivers, running backs. You guys are a deep team, and your own line won at the trenches along with the defense. How about that defense, Aiden? What an impressive defensive game for you guys. I know obviously the snow played a factor, but how about that last play of the game for you to knock that ball away? Were there any nerves in the for the final play, like, all right, let's just keep the ball in front of you, and obviously when it was in the air, just to knock it down? Because obviously we've even seen in the NFL play end on a Hail Mary where a team didn't knock it down and they scored a touchdown and lost. So talk a little bit about that final play and you being able to knock that ball down and then celebrate with your team afterwards.
Yeah, I was thinking about it the same way as you were. Right when that ball went up, I was like, yeah, I'm going to stop this ball like 10 yards out of bounds just to make sure that he can't catch it over my head or anything. I saw it go up. I knew that I could be able to make a play on it, and it was just so fun celebrating after, running out there. But seeing everybody on our whole sideline run onto the field was just crazy. And, it was wild.
Yeah, I mean,
Coach Elder.
Go ahead, Sean.
Oh, sorry, Rob. I just want to ask, because Coach Elder mentioned when we spoke to him earlier that you guys they kind of drilled it into you all week that, obviously Anderson's not a team that punts. I know you guys did hold him to a punt, which I think is, on top of all your other accolades, maybe a pretty good accolade for them too. But, what from a player's standpoint, what was it like defensively for you guys whenever you guys were playing those types of plays where it's like, okay, it's not, you get a stop on 3rd down, but they're going to come back on 4th down? Did you have to kind of remind yourself throughout that game, hey, this team's not going to punt 3rd down? Stop on 3rd down doesn't necessarily mean, throw up this, the 4th down. So we got to move. Was that something you were kind of reminding your other teammates as one of the leaders on that team?
Yeah, our coaches are preaching to us all week that this is a 4-down team. I think they punted 3 times all year long, and we knew they were going fast every single play, so we each had to prepare for that and practice with it all week. We had a few practices that were pretty tough with that, but it made it fun through the week, and with them challenging us with that, it made it more fun, honestly, for all of us, and just bringing us closer together for one final time. That's basically all it was together.
We're talking with senior safety Aiden Atkins and senior quarterback Nolan from the Division II state champion Avon Eagles. Let's backtrack a week here. The Hoban game, a team that Avon, the program, has run into multiple times over the years, and from the first game years back, where those games weren't as close, to last year when Nolan wasn't able to play, a 3-point decision when you guys were up. What felt different about this year that this was the year you guys were going to get them?
we just knew since the beginning that this is going to be it. We've been manifesting this. We were talking about it since our first practice that this is the year we're going to be Hoban. This was the year we're going to get it done, and we just stuck with that like all year long, all 2 days. We just trusted the process, and we just working every single day to try and get better. And when that game came, we just knew and we locked in, and it just all worked out perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, he said it pretty much to a T. Last year, with that game going down how it was, every single person in Avon, every single person on our team, we felt like we had the better team. We felt like we had more skill on our team, and it didn't work out in our favor. And I'm sure there was a bunch of things that everybody wished they could have had back and redone, and that's just not how things work, obviously. But this year coming in, we just had the mentality that we were going to hunt people and not be hunted, and we're not scared of any opponent. We're not going to fear losing. We're not going to let the fear of losing get in the way of winning, like Coach Elder always says. And so we came into that game, that Hoban game, with the mindset that they're just another faceless opponent in the way of our ultimate goal, which is Week 16 state championship game. And obviously to get there, we had to beat them. Came in with that mindset, and we all just executed, did what we were asked to do, and it worked out.
Well, we'll let you guys go on this one. The football season is over. However, your senior school year is not. There's plenty of time left in it. So for both of you, what you got going on the rest of your senior year? What's it look like for you, either athletically, whether it's you guys playing other sports, or Nolan, I know you're going to Kent State, getting ready to go and get that started for you.
Yeah, I know Nolan's getting basketball started. But I'm probably just gonna work a lot and hang out with my friends and try to enjoy the most of my senior year, the rest of it.
Nothing wrong with that, buddy. You deserve that one for sure.
Yeah. Like Aiden said, first day of basketball practice today. Nothing quite like basketball shape, getting up and down the gym floor. Not the easiest thing to come back and do, but coming back from a full season of football and being a state champion makes it a lot easier than coming back from a 8-week broken collarbone recovery, surgically repaired. It makes it a lot easier. I feel a lot better about my body. I feel a lot better athletically compared to last year. I'm excited for this basketball season. I still got some football work to do. Get back in the weight room, try to gain some weight so that by the time I get to Kent, I'm in the best physically and mentally, but more physically form, so that when I get there, I got the best shot to potentially earn that starting spot. And then I'm just going to keep working mechanically with my guys, my trainers, and just make the most of my senior year and have as much fun as possible.
Now, are you guys? Oh, go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say, before we let you go, can you explain the difference? There is a definite difference between football shape and basketball shape. How long is it going to take you to get into that basketball shape?
Hopefully not too long. First game's next week. But if I told you that I'm going to be in perfect shape next week by the first game, I'd be lying right to your face. So I'm not going to say that. It probably takes 2.5 to 3 weeks to really get there, get the touch completely back. Obviously, touching a basketball and picking up a basketball during football season every now and then helps with, when coming back and just having the touch and the feel for a ball and dribbling and stuff like that. But just being in shape and running and yelling and talking and jumping and then doing it consecutively up and down and up and down. It's tough. It's tough, but it feels really good when you can tell yourself that you can run up and down the court more than 3 times without bending over and resting. That's where that's how I think about it. I want to get there as soon as possible, but realistically, it'll probably take two-ish weeks.
Well, are you guys going to still be celebrating, or is the celebration over now?
No. Celebration's never over. Monday we got our city parade.
Nice.
That'll kind of be one last hurrah in terms of the entire city. But then as a team, obviously we're going to hang out a bunch, continue to celebrate it. Whenever those rings come in, that'll probably be another burst of happiness and celebration, and everyone just showing those off. And just in the classroom, dudes being dudes and showing off their wing.
I like that. Dudes being dudes, man, with big rings on your hand that not everybody has. I'll tell you that.
Right. But yeah, there's still a few milestones to go in terms of celebration.
Yeah, we're just excited about the parade on Sunday, and we got our banquet too. And we're just gonna keep celebrating. Keep celebrating.
Man, it's just one big celebration in Avon for a long time to come. Let's put it that way.
Well, you guys can check this one off your list. This was a big one, I know, so we appreciate you coming on. Sports Out 10. Nolan, you've been on quite a bit this show, so I think you have friend to show status. Aiden, this is your first time, so welcome. Check back in. We'll see how you guys are doing.
Absolutely.
Once again, congratulations.
Thank you guys so much.
Congratulations, you guys. Thanks for coming on.
Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Hope football season was fun for all of you.
Oh, it was a blast. That's for sure.
Awesome.
We appreciate you guys.
Yep.
And thanks again. I'm sure Aiden's going to love watching you work your butt off in basketball.
Yeah, he's going to be in the stands laughing as he runs up and down the court, and he's just...
You're going to be getting sick on the sideline. I'll be laughing.
Dudes being dudes.
Yeah,
that's right.
Dudes.
I love it.
Congratulations, guys, and
Thank you,
enjoy
guys.
the rest of your celebrations.
Thank you.
Will do. Take it easy, y'all.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
That is senior safety Aiden Atkins and senior quarterback Nolan Good taking time out of their celebration to grace us with their presence and their interviews. Just great kids, great students, great people. As Coach Elder has said multiple times over, it's about teaching kids to become good student athletes beyond high school, and pretty much everyone we've talked to that's from Avon embodies that, and I have no doubt that Aiden and Nolan will have great things in their future, even beyond winning a state championship, which is unprecedented in Avon football history. They are the history makers here, so it's certainly not going to be lost on them. But everyone has bright futures to look forward to, and as Coach Elder mentioned, some of that should be due in part to their participation in this program that drives what they're able to do. So we're thankful to be joined by Coach Elder and Nolan and Aiden, and also Coach Hunek. So as far as state championship experience, there's probably not too many people that have more experience than he does. From his years as at Maple Heights, St. Ed's, and then also for football, and then also with Ignatius and Ed's for hockey. Just a lot of state championship experience on the show tonight, and we're blessed to have those relationships to be able to bring them on.
Yeah, and I thought one thing that Coach Elder said really stands out. He obviously loves winning championships, but the fact that that he likes, obviously he's more into seeing how these players develop into men, and teaching them and learning lessons. I think that's the most important thing. Obviously, it's great to win a state championship, and they've done that, but it's more than that to him and his program, and you can see it. I mean, seeing all the alumni at the game and how the community comes around the Avon program, it's something special to see, and it was a great season overall, and a lot of fun. It's crazy that the season has ended now, and this was our last high school football show, but appreciate everybody watching and all the coaches and players and athletic directors that had a hand in our show and making it what it is. Can't thank all of them enough and for working with us during the season.
I got to tell you one thing. Whatever you got to do in and around the city of Avon, you better make sure you get it done by Saturday at sundown.
Yeah, no kidding.
Come Sunday at daybreak, it's going to be party central. It's going to be purple, white, and gold all over that place. Not that it isn't already, but that city, when they won that championship, man, Rob, you did a fantastic job out there in the ungodly elements. You captured just what that relief was but also just that sheer joy of winning that championship, winning that game, and when you finally reach that mountaintop, that's there. But man, that's going to be a fun time in Avon. So if you got errands to run, you better handle them on Saturday because Avon shut down on Sunday. Baby.
Oh, no kidding. They should just take Monday off too while they're at it. Celebrate Monday.
Don't threaten them with a good time, Rob. Don't you threaten them with a good time.
No kidding.
And another thing, guys, again, what a great high school football season this was in 2024. Starting off the season at Cleveland Brown Stadium and Avon is playing St. Ignatius, and to end my season with the regional semifinals in Metairie and McKinley. But, what a great year for high school football. First off, we want to thank the coaches, athletic directors, the players, all the people that have really helped us provide the best high school football coverage that we have here at Sports on Tap and in Northeast Ohio in general. And I also do like to mention Cleveland Heights' head coach, Max Stevens, for winning the 2024 Cleveland Browns Head Coach of the Year. What an honor that is for a man like Coach Elder, what Rob was talking about, a man who's dedicating himself off the field and really helping his players to become the best out of them. So really want to congratulate Coach Max Stevens and winning the Cleveland Browns Head Coach of the Year. And I want to thank all the coverage that we have provided for the 2024 high school football season. There's no other podcast like we do it here at Sports on Tap, but the work doesn't stop here, boys. We've been doing basketball coverage throughout the rest of the year and even out throughout our high school hockey coverage. So the work doesn't stop here at Sports on Tap, and we are continuing to provide the best high school sports coverage that we have right here at Sports on Tap, and I just can't wait for all the excitement that we are going to continue to bring to all of these high school players.
That's right. Well said, Noah. I think he's taking over Professor Hype there a little bit.
That was little hype-ish there.
That's not bad, young one. Not bad.
I want to. Sorry, go ahead, Josh.
I was just going to say, just kind of reiterate what everyone's saying. Great high school football season. Big shout out to all the players, coaches, ADs, fans that help make our show what it is. We, as Ed said many times, we do it for the student athletes and the programs. And this is, we love doing this. It's a labor of love for us. So we really enjoy doing it. And in terms of Avon, whether you're a rival of them, whether you're not a fan of them or you are, we try not to be biased. We have our certain teams that we all cover. But I think I can speak for all of us. We were really rooting for them to win, and we were happy to see that they did. So one final congratulations to the Avon Eagles for winning their first ever state championship. The bar is set now in Division II at least, and for them and the SWC, and it's a good bar to be held. So congratulations to them, and sorry to say that it's over, but we got some good hockey action and Noah's basketball coverage coming up soon, and hopefully flag football here as Hunek teased.
I still think I could have sworn Hunek was like, come on out and play football with these girls, and I'm like, why would he set Ed up to be torn down by some high school girls?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say humiliated. I'm more concerned for your physical health because I've seen some of these flag footballs, and it doesn't stay flag. There's some contact.
That would be great content for a show.
I know that.
Great content for the
ratings.
Yeah. We could take a page out of Dan Coughlin's book from his time in covering high school sports in the 70s and in probably the 60s and 70s when he was doing stuff like that. He was like going undercover at football practices now mind you, he was in his 20s doing this. I'm in my 40s, and the result would probably not be much different. That would be I don't need a bunch of high schoolers running circles around me and making me worse than I am.
Sore, very sore the next day. So don't worry about it.
I'll stick to beer league softball. Thank you very much.
There you go.
That's my strength there. I want to.
I think we also.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I think we also have to, at least for 4/5 of us, have to say thank you to our families, specifically for putting up with the week, the travel and all the work we have to put in for this, and we wouldn't, Coach Elder said it, it starts at home, and so I'm gonna be the idiot. I'll thank my wife Jen and my son Liam, who allow me to go out and walk up and down the sidelines and come home covered in rain and snow and all kinds of foul weather. But yeah,
Sean, you can. I think Jen's behind you. She has a gun to your head. Tell her to come on out.
Yes,
come on the video.
Steak knife.
I'm just kidding.
There's a machete. There's a machete behind me.
That's a sign to
really want to thank her.
Wrap it up.
Yeah,
you're the best.
Did I do it right, honey?
Say it again.
That ransom note that's kind of random newspapers and magazines. I don't think they make ransom notes like that anymore. No one reads physical papers anymore.
Keep doing without you, babe.
Are you safe at home, Sean? Blink twice.
Rob, you're the closest to him. You better get over there.
Yeah, no kidding.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you guys this, and to the viewing group. He's not. What Sean said is completely accurate.
Yeah, he's dead on.
More in the way of the 4/5 part. Rob, Josh, Sean, and Noah have answered the call, answered the bell. Crappy weather, great weather. It doesn't matter what it is. They've been out there covering these games, providing the best social media content, highlighting your programs, highlighting your student athletes. As Josh had mentioned earlier, this is a labor of love for us. And honestly, even though I don't go out and cover games like those guys do, and to be completely transparent, the reason why I don't do that, because if I'm doing that, then that means I could probably be a coach on the sidelines, and I've chosen not to do that. Not to say that these guys can't, but I don't think it's any secret that I have been a coach at Brunswick for quite a while, and I stepped away from that. And this is I gotta wrap it up. You're right, Josh. So that's the reason why. That's to being transparent. So that's the reason why I don't cover games. But Rob, Josh, Sean, and Noah do, and I cannot thank them. And I'm so appreciative of everything that they do. I'm just the one that kind of organizes it on Monday nights, but they're the ones that provide the content, and they do more than I can. So thank you to all you guys for getting this.
Thanks,
for putting yourselves out there. I thank your families as well. I'm very appreciative of that. This has been a fantastic, another fantastic season for high school football, and for us, for Sports on Tap, it is special because one of our coverage teams, and quite honestly, it doesn't matter which one it is, but Avon happens to be the first. So
first of many.
Yes. They're the first ones to get a state championship in our coverage area while we've been covering them. And not to say that we wouldn't throw our support behind the other teams as well, because we certainly have and we certainly will. So that is a very long-winded way of saying thank you to Rob, Josh, Sean, and Noah, and I appreciate your families for that. This Friday night, not this Friday, but next Friday night, we're going to thank our wives again, and you're going to think I'll be included in this one.
Yeah, get it.
At the Mentor Civics, Mentor Ice Rink in the Civic Center, a Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League Red Division matchup between Hudson and Mentor. I believe the puck drops at 6.
Sir.
So that's usually we usually hit up a Mentor home game around this time. That's one of our favorite places to do a game. So we will be broadcasting live Friday the 20th. From Mentor again, Hudson versus Mentor, and then we have some games coming up in January and also February in preparations for the Barron Cup Championships, which is the de facto state championship game for many of the programs that we cover as well. Next Monday night, we will have a preview show of the Greater Cleveland High School Hockey League. So we're going to be talking to some of the coaches in the various divisions. We'll go through any division realignment that happened in the last year, and really focus on some teams, get them some publicity as well. So we're looking forward to that. All right, that's going to do it for tonight's show. We want to thank Coach Hunek from Brigham Mid Park and Coach Elder from Avon and Nolan Good and Aiden Atkins also from Avon for joining us. Thank you to the guys for covering the games. Thank you to our sponsors. Make sure you stick around for a word from all of our sponsors here after we're done. And we're going to say goodbye for football for now, but we'll be back before you know it. The next time you'll see us, it's hockey time. As far as all the collective of us, Dr. Hoops, make sure you follow us on all our social medias. Dr. Hoops will be out there. He'll tell you where he's going and what high school basketball he's covering. So make sure you're following us on the social media accounts for those. For Rob Troutman, Josh Jeffy, Sean Duffy, and Noah Jacobson, my name is Ed Dick. This is the Sports on Tap High School Football Recap Show presented by Raymond Felton State Farm Insurance. And we will see you on the other side.
Flip side.
Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is on every Monday night at 7:30 p.m. Watch live on YouTube and make sure to subscribe. Sports on Tap's high school football coverage is presented by Raymond Felton State Farm.
Have you compared insurance rates lately? Are you satisfied with your current insurance provider? If not, look no further than Ray Felton State Farm, a proud sponsor of Sports on Tap. For a free quote, call his office at 234-284-2996 or visit him online at rayfelton.com.
Whether you're hosting a corporate event, wedding, conference, concert, or any other special gathering, our comprehensive range of services will exceed your expectations and elevate your event to new heights. RRT Productions. We shoot, we edit, you win. Visit our website at www.rrt-productions.com.
We've got the experience, the passion, and the beach to make your event a smash hit. Whether it's a romantic wedding, a lively sports venue, or a rocking high school dance, Troutland Entertainment has you covered. Contact them at 330-414-4261 or email them at troutlandent@gmail.com. That's troutlandent@gmail.com. Elevate your brand with Mako Custom Printing. Mako Custom Printing specializes in creating high-quality spiritware, corporate apparel, and promotional products that make your brand stand out. Whether you need custom printing, graphic design, or an online store for your school or business, we've got you covered. Make a statement with Mako Custom Printing. Visit us at mako.com to start your custom printing journey today. That's MEHCO.com.